There's an old asylum about 20 miles from my hometown in rural Pennsylvania. It's called Ridgewood State Hospital, and it was shut down sometime in the late 80s. Since then, it's become the kind of place teenagers dare each other to explore. Stories spread like wildfire, tales of mistreatment, underground chambers, and patients who were never discharged because they never left. I never believed any of it. I figured it was just local folklore meant to keep kids away. But curiosity is a dangerous thing, and I had something to prove. It started as a drunken dare between me and my friend Josh. He bet me $100 I couldn't stay there alone from midnight until sunrise. Just me, my flashlight, and a sleeping bag. No phone signal, no backup. It was a dumb idea, I know that now. I got there around 11:45 p.m., parking just off the road behind a line of pine trees. The asylum loomed through the darkness, 3 stories tall, its windows shattered and sagging like the face of a corpse. Ivy strangled its walls, and the front sign had long since rotted away. I climbed in through a basement window, trying not to cut myself on the broken glass. The air hit me like a brick, thick with dust, mold, and something else, something metallic, almost like dried blood. The flashlight cut a weak path ahead of me. The basement had collapsed in places, but I found the old stairwell and climbed up to the lobby. The walls were lined with cracked tiles and ancient graffiti. Words like, "Help me," and "They're still here" were scrawled in jagged letters. I found a spot near the front desk and laid out my sleeping bag. I turned off the light to save battery, lying in the dark, listening to the wind whistle through broken windows. At first, it was just silence. Cold, heavy silence. But around 1:30 a.m., I heard what sounded like a footstep above me. Slow, deliberate. The second floor was condemned. No one should have been able to walk there. I told myself it was probably debris falling. But then I heard another one, closer this time. I turned on the flashlight. The hallway in front of me was empty, but one of the doors at the far end was swinging ever so slightly. I got up, convincing myself I'd just go check it out and get it over with. I walked down the hallway slowly, the crunch of broken tiles under my feet echoing off the walls. As I approached the open door, I felt a rush of cold air blow past me, strong enough to make my breath catch. The room was empty, or so I thought. In the beam of my flashlight, something flickered, just for a second. A pale figure, hunched and motionless, standing in the far corner. It vanished as soon as I turned the light toward it. I froze. My heartbeat was in my throat. I backed out of the room and shut the door, even though the hinges screamed in protest. I decided that was enough exploration for one night. I returned to my sleeping bag, but I didn't sleep. I just lay there, gripping the flashlight and listening. At 3:10 a.m., I heard whispering. Soft at first, barely audible, like someone was standing just outside the room, mumbling to themselves. Then it grew louder, more urgent, like a group of voices. I sat up, shining the light around, but there was nothing there. That's when I noticed the temperature had dropped. I could see my breath in front of me, even though it wasn't that cold when I entered. And then I heard the footsteps again. This time they weren't above me. They were right behind the front desk, slow, heavy, like someone in wet shoes. I ducked behind the counter, turned off the flashlight, and peeked out. What I saw is burned into my memory. A man was walking down the corridor. He wore a faded hospital gown. His skin was pale and stretched, like wax. His head jerked with every step. But the worst part were his eyes. They were white, not like blind white, more like reflective, empty. But I swear he was looking right at me. I held my breath. He walked past me and disappeared into the darkness. I couldn't take it anymore. I packed up my things and made for the basement window. But something stopped me. From the far end of the basement hallway, I saw light. A flickering, cold blue light, like an old surgical lamp. Drawn in despite myself, I walked toward it. The room was once an operating room. The table was still there, straps hanging off the sides. Above it, the surgical lamp buzzed and blinked. And on the table, someone was lying down, strapped in. I couldn't move. I couldn't even blink. The person was struggling, mouth open, eyes wide, but no sound came out. A tall figure loomed over them, wearing what looked like a doctor's coat, though it was filthy and torn. He held a surgical saw, and just before the lights went out, he turned toward me. His face wasn't human. It was stretched like it had melted and been sewn back together. And his eyes, they matched the patient's. I blacked out. The next thing I remember, I was lying in the parking lot. The sun was just rising. Josh's truck was parked nearby. He said he found me wandering the lot around 6 a.m., muttering nonsense and bleeding slightly from my ears. I don't remember leaving. I tried to move on. I tried to forget. But something came back with me. Since that night, I've heard whispering in my house, seen figures in mirrors that aren't there when I turn around. Sometimes I wake up with marks on my arms, bruises that look like restraints. 2 nights ago, I found something under my bed. A hospital wristband, my name on it. The date, the same night I stayed in Ridgewood. I never told Josh. I haven't told anyone until now. But I don't think I ever really left the asylum, and something tells me it's not done with me yet.